You ever have that feeling where you're making a great point, but you can just tell it isn't landing? Well, today we're going to crack open the Persuader's Toolkit. We'll look at 4 simple techniques to make any argument more effective, more memorable, and yeah, a lot more convincing. It is so frustrating, right? You lay out this solid point, but it just vanishes. You explain something super clearly, but an hour later, nobody remembers it. So what's the secret? Why do some ideas stick in our brains while others just slide right off? Well, it turns out the key isn't always about having a better fact or a louder opinion. A lot of the time, it's about how you build the case for your idea, how you make it tangible, relatable, and easy for people to actually grab onto. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Think of this as opening up a toolkit full of simple but really powerful devices that absolutely anyone can use to build a stronger, more compelling argument. All right, here's our game plan. We're going to break down 4 essential tools: the anecdote, the scenario, the analogy, and the specific example. Sound good? Let's dive in. First up in the toolkit is something you're probably already using, even if you don't call it by its fancy name, the anecdote. Or, to put it simply, a personal story. So, check this out. Instead of just making a flat statement like, people lose touch with new music as they get older, the author tells a quick, personal story. And boom, we are immediately pulled into their specific, totally relatable experience. And that is the magic of an anecdote. It's just a short, real-life story that makes a bigger point. It works by taking a big, abstract idea and grounding it in a real human experience, which makes it instantly easier to understand. I mean, the difference is night and day, right? On one side, you've got this abstract claim. It's fine, but kind of forgettable. On the other side, you have the story. It's concrete, it's personal, and it makes the exact same point in a way you're actually going to remember. Okay, so an anecdote is a true story from the past. But what if you need your audience to imagine the future? Well, that brings us to our second tool, the scenario. If an anecdote is a story that did happen, a scenario is a story that could happen. It's the what-if story. You see how the technique is different here? The speaker isn't talking about their own life anymore. They're asking you to imagine your life. By putting you right in the middle of this hypothetical situation, they make you feel the emotional pull of the idea firsthand. This makes the scenario an incredibly powerful tool for building empathy. It's literally an invitation for the listener to step into someone else's shoes, or even a possible future version of themselves, to understand something not just with their head, but with their gut. Just look at the contrast. The claim, wealth does not buy happiness, is a cliche we've all heard a million times. But the scenario makes you experience it. It doesn't just tell you the lesson. It forces you to feel that tension and ask yourself, what would I do? So stories connect with our emotions, but sometimes you just need to make a really complex idea feel simple. And that is the perfect job for our third tool, the analogy. This one is all about making powerful comparisons. It's so simple, isn't it? But just think for a second about what's happening here. In just 6 little words, this analogy paints a powerful picture in your head that gives you a framework for understanding something way more complex. An analogy works by building a bridge. It connects something that might be unfamiliar or complicated, like, say, nutrition, to something that's familiar and simple, like taking care of a car. It's a shortcut to understanding. And this analogy is so effective because the logic just lines up perfectly. A sports car is a valuable asset, so is your body. Both need high-quality fuel to run well. And for both, if you put in the wrong stuff, you're going to get poor performance. It just clicks. That simple comparison makes a big idea feel instantly intuitive. Okay, so stories create emotion, and analogies create understanding. But what about proof? To really build credibility and make your claims believable, you need our final tool, the specific example. Let's take a general statement like this one. Sure, it's informative, but it doesn't have much punch, does it? It feels a little distant, and you could easily be skeptical. So how do we make it more convincing? Well, you add the details, you get specific. So instead of just foods, you say, for example, most of the corn grown in the United States and many of the soybeans in South America. See what's happening? By layering these concrete, real-world examples, you add weight and authority. You're not just telling anymore, you're showing. And that's the whole point of a specific example, to provide the evidence. It takes a big, general claim and makes it tangible and believable by backing it up with clear, detailed proof. And that's our toolkit. 4 simple but incredibly powerful ways to make your ideas actually stick. So let's do a quick final recap of how and when you might use each one. It's actually pretty simple. Use an anecdote to make a personal connection. Use a scenario to get your audience to imagine themselves in the situation. Use an analogy to make a complicated idea feel simple. And use specific examples to prove you know what you're talking about. The best part is, now that you know what these are, you're going to start seeing them absolutely everywhere, in presentations, articles, even just in daily conversations. They are the fundamental building blocks of powerful communication. So, really, the only question left is, which tool are you going to use first?